The process of making the panic room was one of first investigating waiting room spaces. I'm not sure at what point it occurred to me that I would like to make a waiting room in particular, but I have for the last few years been interested in making rooms based on either domestic interiors or rooms that have a very specific function. So I did a large project at the Queensland Art Gallery that was based on a parlour room and then a room in which a dinner party might take place. The one earlier in the year at First Draft was based on a strip club, and then this time it was a waiting room in particular that I wanted to work with. They're spaces that, because they have such a specific function, have such a specific decor. And it's the decor that really interests me about those choices. I started making patterns using very basic tools. It's actually in response to a particular moment of Russian constructivism where a couple of women who saw the artist as more of an engineer would limit themselves to using only a compass and a ruler to make patterns. So that was a starting point, but in this particular show I've then digitally manipulated them. So I've used Photoshop tools to kind of shape them, morph them, make them look digital, but also make them have a closer resonance with the body. So I've kind of dragged them to make them saggy, make them kind of heightened, make them floppy in some instances, or just slightly off what you would see with a regular pattern or what you'd associate with a regular pattern. I'm very much influenced by psychoanalysis and particularly Jacques Lacan's theories around repetition and anxiety. And thinking of waiting rooms as places that try to placate anxiety. So I wanted to make a space that, instead of kind of placating anxiety, let anxiety run free. So every single surface in the room is covered with the logic of a horror vacui. So it's every single surface has to be densely patterned. So it would be pleasurable to look at, exciting to look at, but might also be uncomfortable and possibly even destabilizing, in a sense of like losing your bearings, being not quite sure of where things started and where things stopped. It being a kind of strange experience for a body to be in. I'm quite curious about whether the experience will be like one in a waiting room. There's a chair, there's a fake plant, and there's a sculpture that is, based on actually a sculpture in a waiting room of an accountant's that I visit regularly. But I don't know if they're going to want to sit down. I don't know if they're going to want to wait for something to happen, because I don't know. I suspect that for each person it will be more or less comfortable. Like, I think it's probably going to be negotiated by each individual whether they want to wait in a room that is so densely patterned. I look forward to hearing about that.